Good evening, race fans, and welcome to BSTV. You've joined us for the TCR Challenge. This is season 11. It's rounds 13 and... No, it's not. It's rounds 15 and 16. Why hasn't that worked? That's because I haven't changed it. Great start, guys. I am Pete Bingham, Princess Pete, and I'm joined in the booth tonight with Russell Racing Cowell. How are you doing?
I'm alright, Pete. How are you?
It was great until I'd forgotten to change the race rounds, of course. But that's all me. That's all me. We're also joined by Wobbly, who was 40 years old last week.
Was that last week? I can't remember.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was last week. Yeah,
It was definitely last week.
Yeah, it is now rounds 15 and 16. I've sorted that out. We are at Brands Hatch. We are at the Indy track. So that for those of you that like the centripetal circuit, this is right down your street. Good evening to Liam O'Sullivan there. He is Jack James's #1 fan. So Jack James has got a fan, which is always a good start. So, Wobbly. Brands Hatch Indy circuit. There's not a great deal going on, but it can give us some decent racing.
It's a really tight and narrow track, especially going through the first corner, going through the Druids. As I told Russ, I know a corner name that is an immense improvement. So just going through Druids, it's going to be tight, especially in the first couple of laps. And Brands is a really cool circuit in general. I like the full course. I like it better than this one.
Yeah.
But it just gives some variation in driving, because everybody knows the full circuit. Everybody knows this circuit, but it's just like a little bit different, and the times are going to be immensely close. Really looking forward to this one.
And Russ, we've got quite a challenge on for the top of the leaderboard now. Do you see this bit? Ooh, who was that? Someone just shot across the bottom of the screen. Do you see this being a track that could cause some upset at the front of at the top of the table, or is this going to be routine for the 3S's?
Oh, definitely. It's going to be absolutely chaotic in race 2. I cannot wait. I hope the Great Wall of Honda is in full force this week.
Yeah.
Because I think whoever puts themselves in a position to start first, second, third on that grid in the reverse grid is either going to be in a big shock because of what's coming up behind, or it is going to mix things up completely for the championship.
Yeah.
I actually can't wait to see it.
No.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it's just going to get very exciting very quickly.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention that I drove this circuit with Michael Seal in a Formula 3 car. We did the full layout. We didn't do this one. I did it like in a league I think like a year ago. We were, momentarily teammates for a couple of races. And I drove a result back then just for fun, for like this league. And he was really, really quick in the first sectors, but it wasn't a Formula 3 car. But I know he loves the circuit, so him being on third place is completely not surprising me. I think he's gonna have a chance for winning this race as well.
Right, okay. Quick question from Liam O'Sullivan in the chat there. It's his first time watching. How does this work? So we're in qualifying at the minute. There's only 5 or 6 minutes to go, so we're going to get Russ to go through the championship standings very shortly. This is a TCR only field. Ignore the graphic at the top. It used to be GT4 TCR. We've changed the format this season so that we do a 20-minute race followed by a 40-minute race. In the 20-minute race, they don't need to pit unless bad things happen, and they do. In the 40-minute race, there is a pit stop. It's not necessarily mandatory, but you're not going to get to the end on a full tank anyway. Unless this track is any different, but I'm sure Wobbly or Russ will be able to fill us in on that detail a bit nearer the time. The championship, however, it's not open as such. There's definitely 4 major candidates. Russ, do you want to take us through the top 5? Because I think that's all we've got time for.
Yeah, pretty much. So in first place you've got Stephen Walker with 904 points. Sam Blees in second with 823 points. Third is Gary Craig with 739 points. Fourth is Spencer McCarthy with 705 points. And fifth is Simon Trendle with 674 points. However, that is their total scores without the drop round.
Ah,
With
okay.
the drop round in, I believe it is very, very close between Sam and Stephen.
Right. If you go by the website, which we know is ever so slightly out by a couple of points, which we've not been able to figure out, then Sam Blease has the top spot on 825 with Stephen on 803. Then there's not that much of a drop to the next car, which is Spencer on 703. So, given the fact that you score points quite heavily in feature races, it does mean that you can haul back some of those points gaps quite quickly. And we've seen some incidents already this season. Where's the pinch points on this track, Wobbly? Do you want to take us round a lap if I can find a car that's going to give us a decent lap in a moment? I'm going to join. Let's see, who's getting towards the end of a lap? No, not them. We'll go with Stan Blease in a second, and we'll jump on board. Do you want to give us a rundown of this particular track?
Let's wait till he actually starts the lap.
Well, it won't be long.
No, it would definitely won't be long. I would suggest like 49 seconds tops, you know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, maybe 48 and a half. Sorry, go on.
To be honest, when starting the fast lap, you want to get a big turnout to the left-hand side and just swoop it in right here, get the most speed possible going on that straight. And you can see he's actually having the toe, and I think that is Matt or Roger or something. I think it's Roger. So heading towards the first corner, start braking in like on the left-hand side. There's this little green patch you start braking in. Shift back to third gear, go all the way right. Watch out that you don't hit the gravel on the left-hand side. Brake really late because you have the uphill part at the 15-meter mark. Then you turn in quite hard and you try to hit the curb a little bit to get the extra turn in. Move all the way to the left over the gravel, the AstroTurf. Get to the right, and you have a lot of width here. Again on the AstroTurf, all the way to the right. Take as much speed as you possibly can. You see Sam going, again, he's on the AstroTurf, getting the best possible turn-in point. And we're already at the end of the lap, so you see him cutting the course, and if you had nailed this corner, you got a little bit of camber, which wants to push you out, but if you hit that curve a little bit, you get the extra cornering speed again, and you're at the end of the lap, and you can tell that it was a good lap, but it wasn't the best lap. But definitely looking for every centimeter he possibly can get.
Yeah, it was a good a good lap. We're in Druids at the moment. We will make our way down this hill here into Graham Hill Bend just to give you the A to Z version of what Wobbly just did. Cooper Straight is this little one as he passes one of the result cars into Surtees. Then you got McLaren right-hander. Clearways is the next turn, which is this everlasting right-hander, which turns into Clark Bend, which is about now after that line. And then you're on Brabham Straight and heading towards Paddock Hill Bend, which is one of the most famous turns in British motorsport, because you come up and over the crest of this hill as Wobbly described, and then you dive down into this dell here. And obviously the Grand Prix track is significantly longer than this version of it. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, and on the first corner, this curve is fairly high on the inside, so you really want to avoid that curve. If you hit it too hard, then you're gonna be sent off to the gravel, and there are ways to save it, but if you finally really hit that gravel, it's gonna be end of the story. Well, that's an off track on the right, by the way.
Yeah.
And another question from Max Pepford Racing: do these cars have DRS? I'll let you decide on that one, mate.
Yeah. No drag reduction systems here. These are rolling bricks. These front wheel drive, quite a lot of horsepower. Not much aerodynamic downforce. Lots of mechanical downforce. These are the front wheel drive monsters that you see in BTCC and WRC. Sorry, WTCC. Nothing like the other monsters that we'll have on track this Saturday. So it's return of the V8s this Saturday. So join us Saturday evening from 6:30, and you will see our V8 League, V8 ESC. It's going for its 13th season in about its 6th year, or 7th year actually. And it's a long-standing league with some of the best drivers you'll ever know.
So Pete, I was wondering, you are covering it, and is Ross covering it as well?
It'll be me and Clyde for that one. Oh, we've just reached the end of quali. Russ, do you want to just extend gridding for a second? That'd be helpful.
Yeah. Grid.
Exclamation mark, grid set 2.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. So, I'll dash us through this because we don't end up with much time, folks. And I'll hand over to one of the other guys shortly for the second race. So, round 15 will be Stephen Walker will be your pole man, a 48.565.
Good luck, Stephen.
Lightning. Sam Blees will go off second for Geodesic Racing. Michael Seal will go off third for Spiro by result. Matt Elmore, that's a turn up for the Bucks Russ, in fourth for Spectre 6 Orange. Gary Craig off 5th, BSTV Esports. Cal Hardy off 6th for Safeguard. Jamie Jeffrey will go off 7th for CCR. Simon Trendle off 8th for Team Chimera. And Tony Walker off 9th for Spectre 6. 10th will be Matt Flannery for Geodesic Racing. Jamie Wilson will go off 11th for Team Chimera. Jack James and his number one fan in the stands there will go off 12th for Spiro by result. Excuse me. 13th will be Roger Morton for Safeguard by result. David Ayres will go 14th for Result Clothing. Arnaud Chenonnier returns to us after a week absent in 15th for RWC Racing Red. His teammate will be next to him on the grid, Chris Needham in 16th. JB Diju will go off 17th for BSTV Esports. Jason Haddington off 18th for RWC Racing Blue. And Andrew Littler will round out the rest of the field in last place. Stop flashing your lights, you know I don't like it. For Result Clothing iRacing Team in 19th and last place. We have
I
no
instructed
Spencer.
everyone. I instructed everyone to bind the flashing lights on the throttle again.
You better not have done.
I did.
That's not even slightly funny. So this class is as the first heat. It's the 20-minute race. It's standing starts, which are a challenge at the best of times in these cars, and tyres and their evolution. Evening to Beth Merton on the chat, who whoops us as it is. There's all sorts of commentary going on the chat, but lights are on, and we are waiting for the launch.
Green, green, green.
And we are green.
This is going to be very interesting to see how many times you have to go back to the start.
Yeah, it's going to be chaos. So it's pretty crowded further back here. Ooh, God, blimey. We have to look at the lead cars going through it.
Gary got another blinding start and was on the inside of Matt instantly.
Yeah, good catch, good spot. That's Michael Seal in third, as Wobbly predicted.
They're all going through very nicely, to be honest. I thought it would have been more mayhem.
And that was Arnaud maybe going a bit wide there, but other than that, it's a pretty respectable start, guys.
I was just about to say, this is probably the cleanest I thought it would be. But you've still got side-by-side action from Gary and Matt.
Matt's
you could tell that
shove. Sorry.
Yeah, Simon is just pushing him through. Like, just go on, mate. Just go on, lad. A little bit faster, a little bit quicker.
This is where things could go wrong into this corner now.
A little bit slidey.
Behind him, all 3 wide now.
Carl Hardy, 5 wide. Oh, this is crazy.
And right behind that, Tony is getting like a sniff of the battle as well. He's like, oh, you guys push each other off and I'll just hop into the gap.
Jamie Jeffrey in the mix, don't forget as well, on the inside of Carl. These are going side
Nice
by
drive.
side.
Ooh, that was a bit of a door bang there.
Yeah.
And that was Simon Trendle getting the rough end of that deal. Oh, Simon on the grass a bit. Too wide.
Oh, the two guys are sliding simultaneously. They do like a big jump in the pool and it's like they end up in the gravel.
And then did just say pulled him off.
Maybe. Right, so, where were we? Gary Craig gets himself a freebie there, really, doesn't he? Because he's got no company anymore.
And it's left. Mr. Elmore out to dry at the back.
Yeah, he's quite far back now. There was a few cars went off there, actually. More than we just realised that we saw.
Matt and Jamie, I believe.
Sorry, David, I can help that.
Was there like a little bit of contact?
No contact
yeah, there
at all, was there?
Yeah, there was.
I don't know where you're looking.
At your stream.
Right then,
Oh, there's more. Two teammates kill each other.
Oh,
That's
where
not
are we?
good.
Was
That
it?
was the final corner. And it looked like, oh
dear.
no, and Chris Needham.
That.
Chris's car is absolutely totaled.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
You
Oops.
know,
Sorry. You know when your cameraman's rubbish.
yeah, we're used to it, Pete.
So what happened here then?
Looks like it was just...
I would say it's blue on blue, but it's blue on red.
Yeah, but I think the incoming car
Oh,
from behind
no.
was
That's
gone off,
a
but
big
that
hit,
is a
isn't it?
destroyed car, yeah.
Yeah. That's
And he
very
couldn't even
sad.
limp back to the pits. He was trying, but the car wouldn't move.
So up front, Stephen Walker's kept his lead. We are as we were, to be honest. The top three have not changed at all. Stephen Walker over Sam Blees over Michael Seal. Gary Craig on his lonesome. And then kind of everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, Jason having to tow there, he's definitely not Julio.
I think Jack James has brought his entire fan club with him today. Everybody's talking about it on the chat.
So he needs to get a move on. He's on in 8th position if he wants to. Oh well, again, it's like a first top 10, right? So if he's
Well, yeah, top 8. So he's in
top 8,
He's in the
he's holding
reverse
pole position for like a feature race.
Yeah.
So just stay there. Then his fans are gonna get a cheer on.
They certainly are.
I'm a bit confused while they're talking about drill bits, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, to be honest.
You guys are such boomers, mate. Everybody knows that we love drill bits.
And evening to Alan Toon on the chat.
That's a nice move on the inside,
Oh,
trying to get a
lovely.
look on. And he held it. Is he not losing 2 positions?
Nearly, yeah. No, he's got it now, hasn't he? So that's Tony Walker being overtaken there by David Ayres. He's about to get the Matt Elmore treatment.
So up front, we still got Steven, Sam, and Michael fighting for the league. And as I mentioned, I'm not surprised that Michael's
Here we
actually
go.
putting
Here we
pressure on Sam. And Sam's moving to the right just to defend. And you're able to give it a comeback here, but you end up on the wrong side of the next corner. So it's really hard to even make a move on Druids. But if Sam is going to keep those lines up, then it's going to be hard to, at least this pace up, it's going to be hard to keep Michael off his tail.
And just for those watching who are new to watching this series, yellow banners in the windshield mean they are a previous champion of a season. So you can see there, Stephen Walker, multiple champion, Sam Blees, multiple champion. Michael Seal is his first season, so he's got a blue banner. Others in there are Simon Trendle, who have won in previous seasons. They've not all won in the TCR though, so Chris Needham, wherever he's at right now, he's back here, he's got a yellow banner, but that's because he won a GT4 season when we had a combined series. And Tony Walker has moved to the pits. It's because of this.
Yep.
Like on the inside.
Oh, wow!
Yeah.
Okay. That's yeah.
It just sends him up to the left-hand side.
It's that tip in to the right, isn't it, at McLaren? It can catch you out, and it certainly caught out Tony that time.
And then he was like, "Oh, I don't need this. I don't need the spoiler."
That was a rage reverse, wasn't it? That was, yeah.
Sam just hit the fastest lap time of the race, and Steven is actually pulling away. He's now he gapped them for a second.
Yeah, it was a good lap that. Let's see what the best laps look like. You want to remember how to do it?
Did you forget how to do the best
Yeah, I
laps?
did,
Because
yeah.
you never could do that.
I've never done a best lap yet.
Matt's got past David Ayres as well, and he's fighting JB.
Yeah, as soon as we've got...
Oh, he's just
He
over to
passed him.
JB.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's, shoved it right in front of him there.
He's left the door open for Dave to try and sneak his little toes in there.
It is either.
I would suggest he's going to slip his nose into there, but I think Carl Hardy would be jumping all over that.
Yeah, apparently it's big.
Apparently so. Anyway,
It's either a really bold move from JB. Oh, did you see that
do you
come
see
up?
the bounce on that Audi?
What
Oh
the
my
hell? Why is he
God.
driving the Audi anyway?
Well,
Oh, that's a good set. That's a proper set.
We tried to talk him out of it, but JB wants the Audi.
Come on,
And
JB.
damage.
Have it
He's
back.
fighting for it though.
No. Dave's car has got a big dent at the back of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a car anymore. It's at least
like a-
second-hand, if not more.
What would you call it then, Pete? JB got hit and he's got sent. And is he gonna save it? It's just a little bit.
It's a save. It's a
Massive
save.
save. Let's go.
Save of the century. Is
Hats
Stephen
off
Walker.
for JB there.
Yeah, Stephen Walker's just put up the fastest lap of the race. What would I call it? I'd call it a buggy, because it's going to start losing panels soon.
I'm actually really surprised that JB managed to save that.
I know, it's
and that,
class.
for me, is the move of the day so far.
The fact that there was tarmac there just really helped him out.
Yeah, a lot. But,
Feel pretty
I
good
mean,
at flat back in 39.
the one thing we have seen plenty of
Oh,
here is
oh,
the sideways car.
That's a power slide.
Yeah, that was Simon Trendle losing
That
it,
was
and
Simon as well.
he's
And now-
given a freebie there to everybody's.
Jack James.
Yeah, to the massive fan club. Can I get a hurrah from everybody on the chat there?
Oh, Ray is fine as well.
And I heard that as it happened, Jack was sliding into Simon's DMs.
Right. Oh. We've had an incident towards the rear of the field, or even at the rear of the field. So this is Andrew coming out of the pits. I'm not sure what's happened here.
I just parked it.
Has he just pulled over?
waiting.
Is that it?
Oh, Stephen, goodbye.
I think he's letting everyone through.
Yeah.
I'm so happy we have the best cameraman in the world.
Yeah, I'm brilliant.
Yeah, definitely.
Odd. Okay, that was a crash apparently, according to SDK. So here we are, back in the thick of it. The two Chimera boys are together now, as they have been in previous. Guess what positions they're in?
Yeah, we know. I'm not mentioning it. I'm not mentioning it because we knew it was going to happen, right? These boys have pushed that car to its absolute limits,
No, they have, yeah.
as well as Gary. Like the three of them being in. Oh,
crikey, that was a bit.
That was a move and a half.
That's called forceful, I think.
Yeah, it's been less and less recently, so I've been getting less and less
We still
camera
have
time.
dive bombs in TCRs.
Apparently so, yeah. We've just seen one.
It seemed like a murder rather than a dive bomb. But,
No, there's no deaths.
Oh, I can
No
do
deaths.
it.
no, not yet.
Not yet. The two
It's
Chimera
all
boys
scored.
are not letting Jack James get away at the minute, unnecessarily, but they're going to struggle in that car, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle now,
The
but they
Honda
will
roadblock is
still
in process for
try
their
and
next
push
race.
it. And even the guys in chat in the game are
Has
now
someone
discussing
overtaken?
how they are going to be the Honda roadblock is in full force now
I mean, we could just
for the
throw
next
that
race.
out.
I'm just watching this little battle because I do wonder whether there's going to be a bit of
We've got wrong, you know.
having it back from David Ayres, because it was a very forceful move at Druids from Arnaud Chenonnier, and Arnaud likes to get it way out on the grass there, doesn't he?
That's what she said.
I don't think that's relevant or funny. It's just because you're 40 years old now, because it was your 40th birthday last week.
40?
40?
I'm not a boomer like you, mate.
What do you mean a boomer? Michael Seal, fastest lap.
Told you.
And he's gaining on
He is.
Sam.
They both are on Stephen Walker now.
Could it be that Steven used the best of his tires already? Just like, I don't know what temps the track is.
37 degrees, the track temperature. I'm glad you were paying attention at the start.
I'm always paying attention.
To yourself.
To my beer.
To your beer.
It's now about 2/3,
Thank you.
and now, so I'm thinking about getting another one, because my draft is working again.
Oh, check you. So ignore the well, don't ignore it obviously, but the Spec 6 car at the back of this little troop here is Tony Walker on his recovery drive now after his rage reverse. I've never seen anybody rage reverse before, but it was.
I do want to give Tony a shout out because I call him the Valentine walkers, and he's the only reason I could do 50x in the 24 hours.
We knew it was coming.
That's a fact.
We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
To Liam on the chat, yeah, there is a photo driver of the day, but it's discussed among the commentators. So, but if you have any suggestions, you can just throw them in the chat, and we won't pay attention to
Oh,
it.
someone's
Yeah.
in the wall.
What?
Is that someone in the wall?
I think it may well have been Mr. Littler.
Yeah, he's back in the pits with a completely destroyed front end.
Yeah, I think he's had a Paddock Hill.
Murder.
Oh, I've just done the wrong button again. I'm terrible at this. So we need a cameraman. Cameraman needed. So what's he done here? He got on the grass?
I reckon he's hit the curb.
No, he's just got it crossed
outside.
up. Drifted.
Just too late on the brakes.
Yeah.
Andy.
Carrying too much over the brow of the hill, wasn't he?
But this is just not having any intention left. Just driving your laps. Already had a major crash. Oh, no, it was Andrew. Never mind. It's Andrew. I pay attention.
No, you don't. You're getting as bad as me in your old age, in your 40-year-oldness.
I'm 26. What are you on about?
What, in 300 months? What?
Plus 20.
Yeah. Was it a tough paper round, you know, like in the Himalayas or something?
We're still seeing
I thought about a
quite
good
bit of
comeback
action
with this hit.
on the field now, like Roger's getting on to the back end of Matt
Yes, he is.
Flannery, I believe.
This is getting to be quite a little heated exchange, this little group here. Roger Morton in the middle of it, Matt Flannery just ahead. Jamie Jeffrey, who we know has got good racecraft. That's Matt Elmore.
Oh, and Matt's just got past him.
Yeah.
Cheers, sweet.
And there's another exchange back here going on at the moment. This corner seems to be the main area of action.
I'm actually really surprised we've only actually seen one murder in turn 1.
Yeah, yeah. You would
Well,
think
not
there'd be
murder.
loads. Well,
it was suicide.
we've got the say.
well,
we've
yeah,
got
we can't go
the
there.
we've got the feature race to provide all that for us, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the one where we're probably going to see more people spend more time in the gravel, especially later on in the race. When the car's feeling a little bit lighter.
Yeah. Most forward-moving individual is Jack James, 6 positions up from his start.
You could say he was fiercely forward.
You could. But at the moment he's Spiro by result until they launch that team. This is getting a bit hot at the top now. I think these 3 have decided
Did you say top or tip?
Top.
Oh, because I thought if you would have said tip, then I would have said that's what she said.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Is there a fan boost? We've been asked by Molly.
I think certain people are. Oh, hang on. Certain people are trying to get Jack James to get driver of the evening. Oh, right. Is he going to save this? Is he going to do a JB? Yes, he is. Oh, and then parked it, has he? No, he's waiting for cars to go past.
Yeah, Simon.
So that was Chris Needham losing the front end there. In the same way.
Yeah, it was already a lap down. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is getting closer. Michael is right in the rear of Sam's car.
He really is. As long as you're talking about racing, then that sentence is acceptable on a family channel.
In Sam's car. We'll leave it there.
We really should.
Oh, he's really pushing. He's really going for it. Even looking at the last corner, trying to get the nose in between the him and the grass.
Yeah, we've got Matt Elmore has just passed Jamie Jeffrey, and David Ayres is switching positions with Arnaud Chenonnier pretty regular at the minute. I'm going to go back to them because they are side by side here. There work.
Fun thing about the lead is that Steven and Sam are really used to driving and racing each other, since they were both basically geodesic drivers. Steven.
Yeah.
But they don't really know how Michael is racing, how his racecraft is. Is he really aggressive? Is he backing off at the right moment? So it's gonna be interesting to watch if he's finally gonna go for a move, how they're gonna react on it.
Yeah, because
We
these drivers
used to see clean races.
Yeah, we
at
are.
the front.
Yeah. They've been very professional. No Spencer tonight, obviously, so Triple S is all broken up now, and we've got an M in the mix.
M&M's.
Yeah. I want some of them now. I want some peanut M&M's.
Oh, so you can basically try to get to 120 kilograms or what?
I don't know what you're on about. But this is Simon Trendle, who's caught back up with Jack James, which I'm surprised about, Russ.
Well, we know it's Simon. He pushes the limits of everything. He's managed to pull away from Jamie. After we saw him very close with Jamie earlier on. I think Simon's in his rhythm. He's trying to keep up as much as he can to the back of Jack now until the end of the race. He'll want that position more than probably most people that are in the positions they're in now.
Yeah.
Matt's just got past him.
Yeah.
I
He's
think
going to be very close to the inside of this first. No, he's letting him through.
I think that they're not really fighting Matt because they know he has a bit more pace in him than the rest.
Are you suggesting it's a multi-21 as Roger goes sideways round Paddock
He's-
Hill?
I don't think that it's like if he's going for the move, I'm not gonna fight it.
Yeah, I think we may be on white flag. I'm not too sure. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think we'll get another lap in. Oh no, we will. This should be white flag now. Actually, there he is, Barney waving his flag. Go on, son, give it some. Oh, we've got overtakes going on back here still. This is Roger Morton and Jamie Jeffrey.
Oh, they dodged, and they...
Keep it.
Ooh, well done,
Played
both
by
of you.
them.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the lead because it's hotting up now.
Sam suddenly throwing out his
Yeah.
extra ERS charge or something. What's that?
He's found the nitro button. There is no nitro, folks, just in case you were checking. JB Dejeu's gone on a little excursion. I think that's just a little bit off track. I'm not going to go to that. And make sure that we cover the finish this time because we often miss it, or I do. And then I'm going to go back round. Hopefully nobody flashes lights because that's illegal. And Stephen Walker takes the win. Yeah.
With the flashing lights.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there's your top three. I'm going to go back here because it was getting a bit tasty a minute ago, but it seems to have calmed down now with Roger Morton. So
Right, done.
there we go. Jack James crosses the line. I better show that because I feel a bit intimidated by the amount of people on the chat that are following him. Matt Elmore just about over Jamie Jeffrey.
Well, the gaps I'm hearing this you make them, I don't think it's a good race to make. You're a really good pace.
Well, it's been a very intense race, hasn't it, guys?
I think Mr. Elmore's going to be kicking himself there.
Do you think? Throwing it off at the last turn.
I don't think he had much more he could have done. Yeah, you can't really, with there being that much traffic, if you didn't take the wide line, there would have been an accident. So
yeah, true enough. Wobbly, do you want to take us through our Heat 1, or Round 15 as it's also known, results?
First in Stephen Walker for Spectre 6. Second in Sam Blees for Geodesic Driver. Michael Seal for Spyro by Result. Then Gary Gregg for BSTV Esports. Carl Hardy on 5th position for Safeguard by Result. Jack James for... man, and now your screen is going blurry. Spyro by Result. Simon Trendle for Team Chimera. 8th, Jamie Wilson, Team Chimera as well. 9th, Matt Flannery. My money is on you, mate. Geodesic Racing White. Matt Elmer, 10th position. Good recovery run, though, if you see where he started up. Out like the first lap. 11th, Jamie Jeffries. 12th, Roger Martin, Safeguard by Result. David Ayers on 13th position. 14th, Arnaud Shinonage. 15th, JB Dejeu. I always wonder if he's French, but I know he's American, but well. GB de jeu, une baguette de per favor. Oh, that's actually Italian, whatever. So BSTV Sports as well. Chris Needham, RWC Racing, red on 16th after a couple of incidents, and as well for Jason Harrington on 17th position. RWC Racing, blue. Tony Walker, my money is on you, mate, because you're the best walker in the town. And Andrew Littler topping off the 19th position of the whole table.
Our new favourite viewer, by the way, is Liam O'Sullivan, who says we're doing a great job in the commentary, enjoying it. So, yeah, we like you. And Max Patworth has just probably lost Jack James's fan base in saying that he, if only Jack could pull off a drive like that in IRL. Which is
I have one comment. So you mentioned the nitro button. Oh yeah, you mentioned the nitro button, right?
Yeah,
so there is obviously a joke coming up right here. You mentioned the nitro button. It got me thinking about the Fast and the Furious. So, you know that Paul Walker was a real good method actor. That's why he crashed the car.
Oh dear. Oh my god. I don't want to have to restart another broadcast.
You don't need to on that one. Luckily, it was
Yeah. Right, so in this race, folks, we will be expecting pit stops. Sometimes they are fairly easy. Now, this track is notorious for getting a drive-through penalty for cutting across the solid white line on pit lane entry. Either of you two been stung by that? I know I have, and I know lots of other very fast racers, because I'm classing myself as a very fast racer. No.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, Russ and me are talented, so we don't crash.
Yeah, whatever.
I have never actually done that here. It is quite easy to do though, but there is a big gap for you not to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if we watch Stephen, who's generally the one that's out there practicing his pit stops and his standing starts, if we watch him go around here now, obviously you usually take a line which is way off to the left there. He's taking a very careful line through there. Is he going to be able to hold that careful line in a race situation into the pits?
Depends how many people is in front of him or behind him.
Yeah, and you did see who finished 7th and 8th, right?
Yep.
Two Chimera Hondas. So we've got the Great Wall of Honda for about the third week running?
Yes. However, we saw what happened last week. Last week was a longer track, I'll give it that. But they struggled with the whole of Honda as Gary got through on lap 1. Was it Gary?
He was, yeah.
And then obviously once the doors were opened, all the Elantras kind of followed through. Well, they didn't follow through, but they drove through in nice fashion. And then we obviously had the race to the end, which was between the S's, like we usually see.
Yeah. And again, another reminder as Stephen Walker does yet another pit stop practice, because I find it a very challenging one, this. I'm sure other people don't. But Jack's getting a bit of stick from Liam O'Sullivan on the chat saying, Jack, don't get a nosebleed being that high up. Defend for your life.
Yeah,
Jack is also practicing his pit stops, by the way.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I thought about, because we're talking about the wall of one Honda, so I thought a Genghis Khan quote would be great.
Go on then. A Genghis Khan quote. Where are you getting this stuff from?
So, if you're afraid, don't do it. If you're doing it, don't be afraid.
This is Genghis Khan. Are
Genghis
you
Khan,
for
yeah.
real? What is going on in this broadcast at all?
I feel at the minute Wobbly has watched far too many films.
Russ, would you mind extending gridding for me? Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll whip down
that
this
girl around,
while that
Roger.
happens. Your pole man. Yeah. Your pole man for the round 16 at Brands Hatch Indy tonight for this BSTV TCR challenge will be Jamie Wilson for Team Chimera. The Great Wall of Honda is fulfilled by Simon Trendle being in second. I'm sure they planned that somehow. His teammate third will be Jack James, and all his fans are watching, no pressure, for Spiro by result. Carl Hardy goes off fourth for Safeguard by result, with Gary Craig in fifth for BSTV Esports. Michael Seal goes off sixth for Spiro by result. 7th is Sam Blease for Geodesic Racing. Stephen Walker goes off 8th, arguably for Geodesic Racing as well, but it's actually Spectre 6 this time. Matt Flannery off 9th for Geodesic Racing. Matt Elmore 10th for Spectre 6 Orange. Jamie Jeffrey off 11th for CCR. Roger Morton will go off 12th for Safeguard by Result, with David Ayres off 13th for Result Clothing. Arnaud Chenonnier in 14th for RWC Racing Red. JB Dijou off 15th for BSTV Esports, and then hoping for better drives this time out, 16th Chris Needham, RWC Racing Red. Jason Haddington, or Kylie Haddington as we call him because he does a lot of spinning around, RWC Racing Blue. Tony Walker, the best of the Walkers, off 18th for Spectre 6, and Andrew Littler rounds out the field for Result Clothing iRacing Team. So, what are we expecting, and is there a particular camera that you want me to be on, because this is going to be
Would watch this start from Blimp.
Blimp.
Yeah, chopper car or blimp.
Or
Chopper car.
Right,
Because
let's
I
go
think
with that.
Jesus.
we're going to see a bit of action going into turn 1 here.
Yeah, good luck.
People will either be very desperate,
Yeah.
or we'll see Michael take off and leave the rest of the field, because he's now got the advantage on Sam and Stephen.
Yes, this is going to be... I've put the track map up just so that we can get a concept of where these cars are this time. Blimey crikey, Mark Draper is even
now
on
in as
here,
well.
shouting for Jack.
Shouldn't he like just go dance with his daughter or something?
Yeah, I think he should. Here we go, lights are on,
Green, green, green.
and we are green already. Ooh, Carl Hardy got away slow.
Oh, and both of the Hondas got a really good start.
Yeah, they did,
And
love
Gary
that.
came up back and stalled like in
Stephen
the
got
middle.
down the outside of Michael as well. This was a perfect angle for this start.
It is actually, yeah, we might do this again. Oh, we're concertinaing up already. Ooh, is that Jack James sticking his nose in there? It is. Oh, Stephen Walker.
Oh, a little small tap, and Gary got through now.
Yeah, Jack James is moving his way backwards a couple of spaces.
I think the pressure got to him, all of his fellows watching.
Yeah, probably. That nosebleed is on, Liam. That nosebleed is on. But round clean, which is always a good start.
Now,
There are a couple of cars way back, though.
Gary Craig, I think, is one in P1.
Jason is in the pits.
What? Oh yeah, he's gone off track. We'll come back to that.
This looks like the wall of Honda.
This
Two
is now
cars.
the wall of Honda.
Yeah, it's side by side.
Yeah.
And you can't go on the outside. You can't move on the outside here.
I bet Gary is swearing inside that helmet there. As we're getting pretty crowded back in here, JB and Arnaud Chenonnier. JB's wide.
And
That looked like a tap, unfortunately.
I think it was.
He saved it again.
Yeah, he's got that Audi tractor in full flow there. Ooh, Carl Hardy on Gary. What's going on here? Talk about
Looks like
nosebleeds.
Gary still has this one because he has the toe and he has the inside line for both.
No, he
first
doesn't.
corner has to do
No,
it.
he
He's got the inside line, he's got the outside line.
Oh yeah, small minor details.
Like
I'm
facts.
colorblind, don't judge me.
They're both the same colour. Anyway. Jamie Jeffrey off track, Arnaud Chenonnier off track. Everybody's off track apparently. We'll come back to those in a minute, but this is too good to watch. Stephen Walker on the inside of Jack James. Is he going to lift him out the next corner?
Oh, yeah, there's some geodesic love there.
Yeah, that's a bit intimate. Bit of inappropriate touching there.
Are they used to that?
But fair play to Sam, like he broke hard to stop himself.
Oh,
from
Sam's caught himself out there and let Michael seal through.
Yep.
I see, by the way, just I see that Jason is in the interview room. We'll get to him in like a couple of minutes. We'll just wait till it's down a bit. And one thing I do want to mention is like, did you guys know that like in the UK you guys have the longest name of a town
Yes.
in Europe? Lian Gwyn Gori Chin Bin Drop Lian Chilio Go
You've done a really good effort at doing that, man.
You did, yeah. Even the
Thank
Welsh,
you.
even the Welsh can't say that.
Even the Welsh can't say it.
So that shot of JB was for Clyde's benefit because he wanted to see what it looked like. Right, let's.
Oh, However, if there is any Welsh viewers, I'm apologising, but Wobbly, next time you say it, don't sound like you're gulping water down.
Vomiting. Liam said,
And that was fluent Dutch, folks. In the booth for your interview terrorisation, Wobbly, is Kylie.
So, Kylie, what's up?
Hey guys, you alright?
What happened?
Just a bad night, I think. Just got spooked in race 1 by
Ooh, slide!
Jane.
Sorry, something got screen.
No, it's alright. I got spooked in race 1 and ended up taking Chris out. Which, big apologies to. And then race 2, David Ayres braked a bit and spooked Chris, and I couldn't stop and took back of him and got damage again. So night over really. Even with fast repair, I was gonna be 2 laps down. So.
How was it? How was it on track? Did it feel like hectic, or was it just? We're gonna get in slide.
No.
Oh, this is a murderer.
Yeah.
We saw a murderer. Trial is on.
Well, yeah, judge and jury aren't needed really. We'll have a look at that again in a sec. But there's lots of muscling going on around here.
How did you? Well, the first. Do we have a replay of the incident between Jason and David?
We will do when I find it. Just give me a sec.
Qualifying, did you end up where you wanted to end up?
I did my usual in qualifying, where I just tried to put a banker in.
Oh, someone went off to the left.
I'm not too bothered about where I start, so I just put a safe banker in and then try and gather pace from there. But it never seems to happen recently, so as you know.
I mean, I think like GT4 is more your thing, right, compared to TCR?
GT cars, yeah, but I'm getting more and more comfortable with the TCR. So yeah, I'm liking the TCR, but yeah.
We have the incident on screen right there. So we see David braking a little bit early. PK, rewind it one more time.
Yeah, David braked a little bit early, so it backed Chris up, and I just couldn't react quick enough.
Yeah, so I think that's the way David drives, like a little bit. He just brakes a little bit earlier than you expect, and then you just you just
Steven's
hit
just
in the
got
back.
past 2 cars, by the way. He's
Yeah,
just
unlucky,
got
mate.
past Carl and Gary, I believe.
Yep, you're right. We'll have a look at that again in a second.
So now him chasing Jamie down, who's got a bit of a lead.
Any crazy insights you want to give us for the track, Jason? Where we need to where it's time to win?
No, not really. I was just struggling with the last corner, trying to get the power down. It just understeered off all the time. But other than that, it seemed quite planted. But I just think it could be mayhem. The cars are that close together. Any slight thing, it's going to cause problems. So.
Yeah, just an unfortunate night for you. Well, we'll hope to see you next week and just get a better night than tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Have a good night, lads.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Cheers.
See you later, buddy.
Bye.
Okay, so we're going to go back and watch the Simon Trendle murder. See what you think about this.
Oh, sorry. No, sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I think he just slided on and. Ow.
Ooh.
To be honest, I do think that was it on the inside? Was that Carl?
Carl, yeah.
Yeah, it was Carl promising him 3 pies.
Yeah, because it looked like Carl just didn't turn in for the corner, where Simon expected him to turn in.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That Carl obviously managed to catch it, which let's put Simon in a wall.
Yeah, once more with feeling.
Because it feels like Simon thinks that he's going to turn in, but he just kept on driving forward.
He stayed on the same line, didn't he? So, yeah, messy one, that one. Right, so let's get back to live racing before...
It's getting really interesting up front because they're now catching up to Jamie, but I believe Stephen is dragging people with him.
He is. He's got 4 friends. That's Gary Craig, Carl Hardy, Michael Seal, Sam Blease, Matt Elmore's just off the back of it, and then we've got Jamie Jeffrey and Jack James with a reversal fortune from the first race. He was up 6 positions in the first race. He's now down 6 in the second race, but all to race for. All the action is here, right at the very front of the field.
I think Jack just got shuffled back by the
And Stephen
yeah.
is on his way past Jamie on the outside, or is he going to wait? He's going to wait.
Yeah, he's going to get a cutback so he can
Cross
get
back.
onto Druids on the inside.
He did it. He's on his inside.
Yeah, he's
Doesn't mean he
squeezed.
has to.
And the Gary going through it as well. Oh.
I've been on the inside with it was Simon, but and I lost that. Well, this is Jamie, but
It's Jamie.
yeah.
Whoa, right round the outside.
And now Carl has a really good exit.
Yeah, like a rat up a
Skipping
train
up on it
pipe.
as well.
But Michael's still not out of it. He's keeping his nose in there.
Yeah.
Narrowly avoiding him then.
Oh, we've got a whole
Got
pile of
one.
cars
Gary.
because
Something happened.
something
Oh,
bad just happened. I'm trying to figure out who is the centre of the disaster, and
Oh, that's a bad
it's here.
car.
Yeah, just bear with me a second. So this is part of it. Has it already happened by this point?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Car
Oh,
speared
sorry.
off.
So it must be just before that.
And it looks like Mr. Ayres, who still hasn't got his paint.
No, I don't know what's going on there. I downloaded it from the site like everybody else. So that's Jack James is involved in this.
Or is it
Was
Jack?
he the one
Oh
spinning?
my word!
Oh my
Oh!
word, that's an exploding car.
Oh!
There is
Ow!
nothing left.
That's what happened to Jack, Liam, and Max.
So you can go. So you can play. You can come and play a set of cards with you.
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
10 out of 10.
And how many cars?
10 out of 10, yeah.
I can see Jack, I can see Chris, I can see
He
Tony.
got it crossed up, then he got a bit of gravel, and then he got all the wall.
He did a Paul
And the
Walker.
car.
That was the nosebleed you asked for.
Yeah, so that was Jack James, David Ayres, Tony Walker, Andrew Littler, all in that.
Oh, that's
Oh,
real
that's
real
the,
unfortunate for the
oh.
others.
I mean, we believe that they finally fixed that part of the because where he crashed. I
Yeah.
don't know if anyone saw it. Is where the steward had the marshal had a Porsche on top of his head at one point.
He was
Oh, really?
decapitated, right?
Yeah, there was a race and the Porsche ended up going into the actual booth that the marshal's sitting,
Oh, wow.
and it's finally been,
Oh.
I believe, made the
And-
amendments.
Oh, no way.
Wasn't it like one of the first races during COVID?
It wasn't during COVID. It was well, we're still in COVID, aren't we? But it was the season just gone, and it was quite a bad accident.
Yeah.
We weren't too sure whether someone actually got injured in it or not, but they have apparently finally done some stuff in that area now.
So this is the fight for second place. Stephen Walker, he's checked out now. He's 3.4 seconds up the road. These guys are scrapping for second place, and there's a bunch of them. Michael Seal has peeled off into pit road.
I think that's smart.
Yeah, keep out of that.
I think that he has the pace over Jamie, and he's not gonna close the gap between Steve. But if he's gonna get some clean-ish air, without too many cars around him, I'm pretty sure he's gonna overtake this back by pure strategy.
Yeah.
And Sam also pitted the previous lap, I believe, because Sam's come out on top of Michael due to him staying out that extra lap.
Yep. He has.
And it's a considerable amount of difference between the two as well.
Right, we'll have to see how that pans out after this lot pit, and particularly Stephen Walker.
I think he's quids in on this one, simply because of how long the guys had to stay out before they could pit. I mean, Carl's now in the pits,
Yep.
so this
You
is
know-
good to see where these two come out. If Carl comes out in between Sam and Michael, that'll put something in the mix, but I think he'll come out behind Michael.
I missed like one specific driver on track today. Where's Scott?
Yeah, Scott Malcolm's not here today.
Because I know
you
for
would
a
have done
fact
the
that
interview, wouldn't you?
definitely,
Yeah.
but I know for a fact that the Scots invented golf.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just I think I read that like the other day, so I was thinking like just asking him about it if he plays golf.
Liam O'Sullivan on the chat says, thanks for the entertainment good quality, great commentary. He's going to go and shout at his driver now. Probably the repair bill's making him a bit, nervous.
Shouting at your driver is always a good job. I mean, that's the way you motivate someone
It's
during
really
24
not.
hours.
So I had to put up with hours and hours in a 24-hour Daytona race last year.
Did as well.
Wobbly and his, why aren't you driving faster, Pete? It's the right pedal, Pete. Pete, you're rubbish. Pete, that was a rubbish bus stop.
You did a really good.
When you did this, you actually had one of the fastest laps out of the team we were driving for.
Yeah.
But this time you didn't do it, and you had the slowest lap time.
Well, yeah. Oh, Jamie sideways.
Did you see? Did you saw that guy was flashing at Jamie?
Well, yes, I did. Not good.
It's very strange that these guys have opted to stay out, to be honest.
They obviously are either enjoying the racing or they see it as a tactic,
This is
innit?
a good comeback. Oh, this is a good comeback.
I think he's copying what Stephen Walker did earlier. And he's making this work now.
It looks like he has so much more grip on the inside compared to Steven there, but now Jamie is coming back at him but I still think that he's gonna get a better exit.
Yeah,
There was nearly a bit of a shove there.
there was, and Matt Elmore
Was lost out to Jamie Jeffrey.
nearly lost out. Yeah, he didn't handle that particularly well that time. Managed to keep Jamie Jeffrey behind him.
Look at that gap. 6 seconds because of the fighting.
Unbelievable, but I'm sure they're all loving it. It's what they always turn up for.
The lap time is very close as well between Stephen, Matt Elmore, Sam Blees. I mean, Matt Elmore's what?
Do you turn up for racing, Pete?
9/100ths off.
You said you did. That's what they all turn up for, but to be honest, preferably I just start at the front, drive away, don't see anyone.
And you must have a boring time, that's all I can think.
When did you do that one? I've not seen you race for a
I
while.
know, yeah.
I to be honest, I did get pole on 24 hours, and then gap happened.
Well, that's
But you were in an inferior split though, to the rest of us. The rest of the world.
I mean, you were like 20 positions down on us, even though you got pole, so that's fine.
I know. I suck. I actually checked my pole time. It was like if I did the same time, I would have been like on pole position on the fourth split as well. So yes.
Oh,
Oh.
Jamie and Matt are having a bit of contact here. That was net code through and through because Jamie was inside Matt.
It was bound to happen.
So yeah, Matt doing what others have done, and Jamie Jeffrey trying to go around the outside of both of them. It's a brave attempt. There's a bit of a hip check to be fair, but I don't think Matt Elmore knew it was going to happen. He was already through on the car. Jamie Wilson's entered pit road. Maybe concerned about a small amount of damage maybe as a result of that. So these cars back out here
Now,
after
what's
getting
going to be
repaired.
really interesting is Stephen is catching up to the back.
Yeah, he might.
4 cars at this time, but he is catching up to Mr. Littler, Tony Walker, and Matt Flannery.
It's
They're
gonna be
all
2
racing.
laps.
So is he going to pit or is he going to stay out and risk being?
Staying out at the minute. That car in front of him, I think, is Tony Walker.
It is indeed.
Yeah, 2 laps down, I think.
Pete, can you pull up the? Oh, you already. So I was wondering what lap times Michael C was doing compared to the others, because he pitted early.
He's currently a 10th off. And Sam's managed to overtake Carl. Oh, so Carl did come out in between them both.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even though they were fighting, it looks like it didn't damage Carl at all.
No, so it will be interesting what happens with the Gary, Matt Elmore, Jamie Jeffrey situation.
And if you look at the pit times, is that 9 seconds like stop time, right?
Yes, it is.
So he stopped a second
But look at
longer.
Look at Sam. Look at Sam. So no, Sam and Michael stopped for 8 seconds, and Carl stopped from 9. So yeah, Carl's had an extra second in the pit and still managed to come out in front of him.
Do we have like the full times,
But
like
he is
from
right
NT?
on his rear.
Let me have a look.
Oh, and we've got a JB off the track.
There you go.
Michael is on the back end of Carl here.
Yeah, so Carl had a massive entry then over exit, one of two, because he... Oh, Michael screwed up somewhere. Maybe he overshot his pit box or something.
JB is now in the pits, so I don't know whether that was...
JB's now leaving the pits. We're not stopped for long.
Yeah, he must have been able to drive the car into the pits.
Yeah, Gary is now 7 seconds behind Stephen Walker. He's gapping Matt Elmore. Jamie Jeffrey is getting dropped slightly by Matt now as well, and 14 seconds further back down the road is Sam Blease, the first of the cars that have stopped.
So we're saying it's a 30-second pit.
Yeah, roughly.
So that means Sam should come out on top currently. Yes, no? Maybe?
Yeah, it depends. Well, no, it will be, won't it? He's got a 24-second, 24-second gap.
Yeah.
So he's going to come out behind Sam Blease by the basic maths of it, depending on what Sam needs to do in the pits. Sam Blease's pit stop time is the second fastest. Chris Needham's is the fastest at 7.85 stationary, 29.2 total time, which is slower actually than Sam Blease. So we'll keep an eye on when these top 4 box the car.
So a lot of this will be about your entry speed into the pits. If you get that right and your stop time's quick, you will do a lot quicker than a 30-second pit, I reckon.
So these guys going long here compared to everybody else. We're over halfway through the race now, just past the 20-minute mark.
So Stephen is slowly gaining the back end of this pack again now, so he's a couple of seconds off Tony, I would say. We can't actually see at the time he's running on because of the difference in position.
No, but he's right there. Yeah, there's a group of 3.
So this will probably be hit or move up my way.
Well, the first of those overtakes won't be faced with that much resistance because Tony will step well out of his way, I would think. After that, he's fighting battling cars. So Jamie Jeffrey has entered pit road from a provisional 4th place.
I presume he's going to drop behind Michael. Based off the timing screens and where he was.
Yes, that would be right. Stephen Walker's just posted the fastest lap of the race.
Facebook.
Really close between Roger and Mr. Jeffrey. Oh, Roger's got through, and Jimmy also got through.
Just responding to David Ayres. Not sure why my paint pack hasn't worked today. Did exactly what I did last week, and I got a different result. So I will endeavour to fix it for next time.
We call it just Pete things.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be the Pete in the chair, not in the computer.
Why would you have a Pete in the computer?
Well, you never know.
Like running on a treadmill just to get some electricity in it. You go, boy!
Well, now Stephen's gone past Tony. He has got the 2 battling cars that he's trying to get past, which is Chris and... Oh, Chris is letting go. He's letting through.
Yep. I'm going to go back to the group here because this is for position as Roger Morton decides to be very generous and go to the gravel against his competitors there.
Be interested to see what Matt does here.
What, in terms of whether he pits or carries on?
Matt
Yeah,
Flannery.
Oh, right, Matt
He
Flannery.
looks, to be honest, Matt looks like he's on it tonight. Although he had the issue in the beginning, he looks very fierce the whole race, and he just keeps on moving forward the whole time.
Indeed.
Oh, Matt Flannery got a bit out of shape right in front of the race leader.
Currently, yes, I think.
Stephen's gone again.
Cheers, mate.
Matt Flannery's letting
He's
through
letting
now.
through.
Yeah.
And he just confirmed it over chat. He said he can go through. Which is fair play. I mean, he's lost nothing to Gary and in that little bit of trying to get by either.
No, true.
In fact, he's gained from it. Somehow.
Some Blaze is now putting up faster sector times. His last lap was pretty quick, 48.5. Fastest lap that time round.
And it's the second fastest lap of the night.
Oh
So
yeah,
far.
yeah. These two seem fairly inseparable at the minute. Carl Hardy and Michael Seal, although Michael Seal's doing his best to get separated from him.
He did quite well to stop that from going in the wall.
He did, yeah.
I do think he's gonna be disappointed with the end results, seeing where he was and where his pace was the whole first race.
Yeah, very
Simon-
true.
Did Simon get caught up in that accident earlier on?
No, he got bumped off by Carl.
Yeah.
Did he leave after that? So I don't feel like that was 4 laps ago.
Let me have a look into that. I'll leave you watching this for a second while I figure that out.
Because it does say +4 laps on the timing screen, or whether that's a glitch or not.
Oh,
Gary
yeah.
is pitted.
Maybe
Gary's in the pits now, so we will see whether he's...
Maybe he just went to the pit and was like, F this.
And
Yeah,
Sam
maybe.
and Carl have gotten past Gary. Has Michael gotten through?
He's
Got
just
mighty
gone
close,
through.
so
Oh! So this is going to be quite interesting now, because Gary was in second. So that should mean Matt will come somewhere between Gary and Jamie in the current.
Yeah, this looks like a pit lane line, is it? No, it's not. He's going again. I thought he was further around the corner than he was.
I reckon these cars could probably get to about 30 laps before they pit. 30 minutes before they pit.
Right, so we're 5 minutes off that. Quarter of an hour away from the end of the race.
And it'd be good to see if someone doesn't no stop pit again, no stop strategy again. But I don't think that'll happen around here.
No. This is going to get very tasty shortly. So this is Gary, Michael Seal and Carl Hardy.
And Sam's just leaving these guys to their little battle.
He is. He's pulling away pretty rapidly now.
Stephen's got a 23-second gap between him and Sam.
Which is not going to be enough, I don't think. Unless it's...
The longer he stays out, the less fuel he puts in the car.
Don't you need the same amount of fuel?
No, because they have less laps to do the end, don't they? So they fill up with less fuel. Sam would have gone in with some fuel left in the tank, I presume.
that doesn't seem right.
Who was that? Somebody.
Wait, Russ. Yeah, someone
Oh.
under the wall.
It was Andrew
Why?
Littler.
Why would you have to fuel more or less, Russ?
You're doing the same amount of laps. I'm a
You're
bit
doing the
confused.
same amount of laps. Yeah, you're doing the same amount of laps. Doesn't matter if you pit early or pit
Sam
late.
might have been saving fuel earlier on with all the people in front of him, so he.
Okay, well, excluding the fact that he would be fuel saving, because that's like a different personal tactic, it wouldn't matter if you pit on like lap 10
No,
or
what I
lap
mean
25.
is he'll have taken less fuel at the point where he was saving fuel.
So you're actually just saying that he saved fuel and that's why he had to put in less fuel.
Yes. Doesn't matter.
Because that's the way how you explain it.
No, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Sam would have been saving fuel being behind the cars
Yes,
earlier
okay.
on, whereas
Whoa.
Stephen hasn't been able to save fuel. And is Matt going to pit now, or is he staying out? Stephen's gone in the pit. Matt's gone in the pit.
Yeah, he's in behind him somewhere.
I think we're going to see a very close race between Stephen and Sam now.
And you just know that he's tempted to hit those walls on his right hand side. Because he loves to do that, hitting walls. Oh, this is going to be really close though.
He's on his way out. Stephen's out.
But Sam has the momentum for the first corner. Oh,
3 seconds behind him.
Yeah.
So it did pay off because he's not lost any, but he's not gained anything on him from when Stephen was up front on his own.
No, but I think, well, depends how rapid Sam can be on his own now, without the traffic around him. These guys are still together, and, well, it's a long way back to Matt Elmore. It's like 4 seconds back to Matt Elmore. And then we've got Jamie Wilson and Jamie Jeffrey even further behind.
The other thing we need to watch out for here, will Sam's tyres last, given that he was possibly pushing that car to its end to gain the time back on Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, his last lap was a 48.8. We'll have to see what Stephen does on his first running lap with the new fuel. That was
Flannery. Oh, no,
Roger Morton on the outside of the track there. He's had a few incidents in the last few laps. Michael Seal way offline and lets Gary through. Yeah.
So the closest battles we have are now Michael Seal and Gary Crack.
Whoever he is, yeah.
Whoever he is, Crack. And, and Jamie Jeffries and Jamie Wilson. I love that Jamie Jeffries seems to, in the season, he calmed down a bit. He's making less major mistakes. There's less major. Oh, who's that on the left?
Andrew Littler.
Okay, that's
keeping out of the way.
That's normal. No, I'm just getting unlucky. So I love that he I think he settled down in the league. We did obviously see him race before in other leagues from us, and always a really good, capable driver. But I feel like he's now getting into the groove and getting into grips with the car a little bit better. So he's performing more stable. He's not giving like the top 5 positions. He's not fighting for that, but he's fighting for like P5 to P10, which is great to see.
Yeah.
Compared where he had a lot of major big incidents in the beginning of the season. Is that, Ross, what's your opinion about it? Is that like a mental thing? Is that just experience? What's your take on that? Oh, wait, he's moving out on the inside. And he did a really clean overtake on Jamie. We got him before the end of Druids.
Yeah, that was a lovely overtake. Well positioned, nice pace through the apex of the corner.
I think Ross is dead.
Michael
he's right.
Side by side through the last corner.
Yes, they are. Everybody's at it at the same time.
The Elantra probably has the top speed here, but he's let off. Yep, he let off. Just trying to get the undercut by the looks of it. Has he got it?
He may well have here.
He has.
Yeah, just to answer David's query, I downloaded the paint pack, so it will have overwritten the manual paint that I put in last week that Russ sent me, so that'll be my fault, so apologies for that. I'll sort that for next time.
Yeah, I think we should have like this horn, which is like really loud, and every time something weird happens, which is your cause, it just says Pete Fangs, you know?
Or we could just start a hashtag blame Pete.
Yeah, I think that one's worn out. To be fair.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Use your right foot, Pete.
Yeah. Why are you so rubbish?
But every time you do something weird, you just press a button on SDK that's goes on this layover, where we see a replay of you just not using your right foot or crashing it into a wall. We have a lot of, or maybe that thing what you did on Daytona where you bumped up the bumper and you did it again and then you crashed.
No,
and crashed
not
again.
on my screen. It didn't. Not on my screen.
We do have a compilation of that, right, Russ?
You better not have.
We've got a few videos.
Yeah, we got a few, to be honest.
Like Pete removing our wheel and bumper and
Putting it back on.
Stuff. Yeah, while he was driving. I mean, I have never seen someone drive a car and be a pit stop mechanic at the same time.
Well,
It is quite an. I mean, you obviously have to drive slower while you're fixing it, but he climbed out the door, he fixed the bumper back on, carried on going. Yeah, I mean, he didn't fix the wheel, so we had to pit anyway.
well, yeah.
And this is the moment where you go like, just speed pigs! Fire explosions!
Like an old school commercial, like probably explosions and everything.
like the fake fire behind it as well. I'm loving this. I'm gonna animate this for you, mate.
Excellent.
We're gonna have
Thanks
this one. I'll fix it next week.
So,
Intro.
Gary.
Oh man, I'm loving this.
Gary's now having to chase Michael Seal again after that overtake. Your race leader, we should show him once or twice, is Stephen Walker still. 2.4 seconds ahead of Sam Blease. Sam is turning laps ever so slightly faster, but not much in it. Not enough, I don't think, to overhaul that gap in the remaining 5 minutes, unless something dramatic happens. 5 seconds back to Carl Hardy in third place. That'll be a great result for him, pardon the pun, if he manages to stay there. Then we've got this battle, Michael Seal and Gary Craig. Excuse me. They are 3 seconds back from Carl Hardy, so that gap's coming down as well. Matt Elmore is slowly creeping up on the back of these two because they're fighting. And then Jamie Jeffrey is a whole 10 seconds back with Jamie Wilson right behind him in 8th place. Then we've got a massive amount of time. 14 seconds takes you back to Chris Needham, and rounding out the top 10 is JB Dejoux for BSTV Esports. So, 5 minutes to go, or just under. Any dramas that you see unfolding, or a procession home? We don't often see a procession, that's for sure. What are your thoughts, Russ?
I've been watching Sam, and he was gaining on Stephen ever so slightly, and still is, but it seemed to have stopped at the rate he was going at.
Coming up behind you, Andy.
So it was 3 seconds when Stephen came out the pits. He rapidly got that down to 2.7, 2.6, and then it kind of mellowed out a little bit, but he's still gaining on certain corners. I think we are now starting to see not the spread of the field, if you would, but like an endurance, you get the moment where the cars become a little bit settled in their positions, and I think we're at that stage of the race now.
Gary Craig closes on Michael Seal rapidly into clearways. And then I think it's just the sheer grunt of the Elantra that hauls it off down the straight.
Can you reproduce the sound?
Sorry?
Can you reproduce the sound of the grunt?
No, but I'm pretty sure you can have a good go at it.
24, mate, don't you remember? Oh, sorry about that. I'll try to take it serious.
So, Matt Elmore not closing as quickly anymore, but he's still closing. Gary Craig seems to be kind of held in position just by the horsepower of the Elantra in front of him. I mean, that Veloster is quite agile going through the tight, twisty bends. It's very much leaving the slow corners onto fast straights where the Elantra just leaves the Veloster behind, Russ.
Well, a little bit too much sugar.
Yeah, he's still not giving up though. He's Gary, is he? He's like he wants that position badly. I feel you're right. Like every time he gets to the straight, he's kind of losing. He's fighting a losing battle, but he's still edging slightly towards him on this part of the track and around the corners.
Yeah.
Roll up, Carl.
Be good to see where they end up at the end of this straight.
Just free.
Because he's on the back end of him there.
Yeah, you think you'd be getting some sort of mean toe, wouldn't you? We are coming up to penultimate lap.
He's going for it.
It's round the outside here. It's pretty risky.
Oh, well played by both drivers there. Like,
Yeah.
This is ballsy.
you have to have trust in those around you to be able to make that move.
He's going to cut back, is he? No, he's losing
No,
out
you
on
can't
that
cut back.
one. You can't cut
He's
back
lost
there.
out there. Yeah.
As well, the camera on that side is against you.
That's Roger Morton keeping out of the way of cars ahead of him. There's Jamie Wilson and Jamie Jeffrey. Team JJ, stop flashing your lights, Jamie Jeffrey. Make their way around the lap.
I do think that it's great to see Michael up front in P4. It's his third race in the series,
Yeah,
if I'm correct. And you see him actually moving forward compared to like the first race we did in Donington, which is the worst track in the world. He was like back on P12 or something, and the steps he made, how much he improved. I love it.
Lap times between these two now. 0.002 difference between
Yeah, yeah.
Stephen's fastest and Sam's fastest lap.
That's crazy.
And this is the last.
It is the
corner of
last
race.
lap. Stephen Walker over the line. I don't know where to look first because Gary Craig's closing in again.
Flashing, Stephen.
The only time you can flash your lights, in my
No,
opinion.
he can't. No.
He's allowed for the win.
Yes,
Sam Blease
Hypocrite.
over in second, Carl Hardy over in third, and then this battle is raging. Who's going to win this?
Oh,
Gary Craig, I think.
looks like Gary has it.
What happened
Oh,
there?
I think that is Michael out of
Good race,
fuel.
mate. Nice double win for Mr. I Hate
Let's have a look at this.
Could it be?
And I'm enjoying hearing Sam give Stephen a
Unlucky
bit of stick.
Emerson shield out of Michael good race.
I think he actually is. Oh, is he?
Well done, Steve.
Don't know.
He's fighting.
It's further on than this.
No, they were
It's further
fighting
up.
for the whole of the last lap. It started way back.
So this is where
Well
Gary
done, Carl.
loses his time.
Oh no, yeah. This is
And then-
this is laps before, isn't it?
It's the lap
Well,
before.
this-
Just
Yeah.
keep on it. I mean, it's just a lap.
Oh, there we
This is where it
go.
happens.
That might do it.
And then the run into here.
So is the effects of the tyres?
Oh, and then he went wide.
Good race, buddy. That was good.
Ish. No, he didn't.
No, this is fine.
Quite tight.
We're gonna go around for another lap with these guys, I think.
Yeah, this is another lap. Yeah. Doesn't matter. It's only 48 seconds.
Yeah, true enough. And it's worth watching because something did happen here.
Gary got the quicker, even though Gary was carrying more speed into that corner first.
Braking a little bit later, just gaining on him.
Yeah.
I feel like he ran out of fuel, but like the way he sat on the middle of the track.
Yeah, it looked like the car was defeated, didn't it? So
Nothing wrong here.
At this point, it looks like he's where he's.
Good on the inside. The line a little bit wide, but it's still fine.
you'd still have it.
It's at this moment he knew.
Yeah, this, you see the car going back, right? It's the fuel, mate. It's the
Yeah,
fuel.
he's out. He's out. He's out.
It's conked at that point.
Right. So drama at the end of that race. Phew. Well, I'm knackered. I don't know about the drivers. So results for Heat 16. I'll run us through this. Why not? Your race winner for the feature race was Stephen Walker for Spectre 6. Second place was Sam Blease, not that far behind and almost identical fastest laps. Geodesic Racing, Carl Hardy rounds out the podium in third for Safeguard by Result, with Gary Craig, as we saw, in fourth, benefiting from Michael Seal in fifth, running out of fuel. Matt Elmore finished sixth for Spectre 6. Seventh was Jamie Jeffrey for CCR. Jamie Wilson, the other half of Team Jamie, in eighth for Team Chimera. Chris Needham in ninth for RWC Racing Red. JB Dejoux rounds out the top 10 with BSTV Esports. Then we've got Arnaud Chenonnier, Roger Morton, Matt Flannery, Tony Walker, Andrew Littler, Jack James, David Ayres, Simon Trendle and Jason Haddington. Quite a dramatic finish to that race, Russ. Never expected someone to run out of fuel here.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him absolutely flying around the track. I wonder if there was a misjudge on calculations when he pitted early. Because as I said, him and Sam would have been saving fuel, giving each other a tow. So if he's not calculated the extra bit of fuel he needed to continue the race, maybe that's why he's run out at the end.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, it's...
Plus, we know the fuel calculators go absolutely nuts at a track like this. Simply because, yeah, it was a fuel issue. He's just confirmed it in chat. Simply because it's such a short track and it doesn't know whether you're going to do the extra lap or not. There's such a tight margin between having to do an extra lap and not doing an extra lap.
And Wobbly, any surprises in that?
No, well, I think we do have to mention all the fans Jack had.
Yeah.
He did actually do a proper job on the sprint race. I believe I can't because I wasn't here last week. Was it his first race?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Last week was his first race.
Last week was his first race. So this is his second race.
Yeah.
So he did a really good job. Got it in the fan base on chat. Cool to see that he got the not support he deserved.
The wobbly support.
He got the wobbly support. But it's good to see like he did a really good job on the sprint race. Was unfortunate on the feature race. But so I can't stay here for like the whole interview thingy because I have to start a run at 6 o'clock or whatever. Doesn't matter. But so can I give my photo driver of the day already?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my vote is going to Jer. No, just kidding. It's going to Michael. I love the lad. He did a good job. Unfortunate about the fuel, but great to see the way how he improved. And I think that if you look at the feature race in total, Stephen managed that really well, got through the traffic. Sam did it really well. Stephen just did it a little bit better. But well, I think overall all the drivers did a really good job besides the one incident on Druids. Jack.
Yeah. Is that you leaving us now then, Wobbly?
In like 2 minutes.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, we'll start with our interviews. And first in for you, Russ. You're going to get the feature race winner. I can't remember who won the first race now. It might have been Stephen as well.
First race winner, yeah.
Oh, right, in that case, double victory, Stephen Walker.
Afternoon, Stephen.
Savoy.
How are we after that one? Are we nice and sweaty?
Yeah, that was tough, man. That track is hard work.
So, we starting off with qualifying for the sprint race. We saw you bring it home in first. Did you expect that to be where you'd start, or how did it go in qualifying?
I thought I put too much fuel in, so no, not enough fuel. So I moseyed around for the first couple of laps, and then just tried to set a lap time that would get me in the top 5 because in the practice everyone had been really close on time. So I was thinking top 5 as a target, and then top 3 if I can. Somehow got lucky, got on pole. Yeah, with I think it was my fastest lap of the week to that point. So I was like, well, I'll take that. I thought Sam was going to beat it, but as I looked up, I realised he was in the pits as I crossed the line for my last flying lap. But ultimately, yeah, I wasn't. It was a nice surprise. Let's put it that way.
And let's start again. Actually, this track is I believe it's one of your favourites, and you've been looking forward to this the most all season. Did it live up to its expectations, or did it
Yeah,
settle
I
on you
hated
as we
every
went through?
single lap that I did around it. I genuinely despise this track in any format, long, short, two corners. I just hate it. But it's very much a rhythm track, to be fair. So once I got into the rhythm, I was fine. But I was worried in the first race that I'd not put enough fuel in. So it kind of put me off for a couple of laps, and that let Sam catch all the way back up. So after that, I was like, well, if I run out, I run out. Like I can't really afford to save because any gap, Sam's going for it. So um, luckily, yeah, I had enough in the end anyway. But it's just really off-putting. And then I nearly had the same thing at the end of the second race, but um, I was not expecting a night like tonight. To be honest, I thought it'd be a lot more. There'd be just loads more battling and stuff like that. I managed to make the most of a good start, particularly in the second race.
Yeah, we mentioned that during the end of the race that the fuel calculators don't tend to like this short of a track because they don't know what they're doing and whether you're going to get the extra lap in or not. You obviously managed to get an extra lap in towards the end, as we saw one person at least run out of fuel as they were going over the finish line. Race one, you had a clear runway, obviously, from the get-go. Was the first lap nervous, challenging, just happy to keep it on the track with it being loose, or?
Yeah, obviously, I've seen myself in the past and others in the past on the first lap just brake as if it's or everything's up to temperature, and then you just go straight on, or you lock. If you lock up, there's no grip, and then the tires are a bit sketchy not long after that, just through the feel. So I just tried to take it easy. I didn't think Sam would do anything silly. I was like, obviously, don't leave him a gap because he's definitely going to pounce on it. But I just wanted to get away cleanly, which I did. I got a decent start, and then just let the car come in to its own and got a good rhythm. I think I saw Sam go off in the background, and that gave me a gap, so that just gave me a little bit of chance to relax and just look at what I was doing rather than I need to stop looking in my mirrors. I'm getting better at it, but in that first race, there was a few times where I was as soon as I stopped concentrating on the mirrors, I either kept a more consistent pace or I just get a tenth here and there. I think there was a few corners I was getting a decent exit and Sam wasn't, but there was nothing in our pace between the two of us. If anything, he was a little bit quicker, I would say. But it was a great fun in that first race, just trying to keep it on the track and not make a mistake.
And if I'm right, you got the fastest lap in race one, correct?
Yeah, race one I did. Race two, Sam got it by what was it, 10th?
1,000.
2,000ths of a second or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So we're going
which
to
was
ask
good.
about this one. How was what was it like the start of race two with the wall of Hondas back in the lead? Was it going to be? Did you feel like it was going to be a challenge? Was it looking to be, oh, we can get past these without any issues? We saw obviously a few bumpy moments where people tried getting through as best they could, but there was still car contact. How did you feel the start of race two went?
Yeah, it was a bit scary. Again, I got a decent start, and I decided to risk it for a biscuit around the outside of a couple of corners, which I didn't want to do, but I was like, if I can make it work and gain an advantage, it forces Sam to like try and push through as well, or if he got stuck, then great. Because at the minute there's a bit of a gap, and I really need to finish ahead of him as much as I can, to claw back the gap. But yeah, it stuck around the outside. I tried to send it, it didn't quite work. So then I was like, okay, just settle down. Maybe other people will have issues like go wide. I think on the colder tyres, I think I made a couple of positions doing that. Something happened to Simon. I think I'm sure I saw him go sideways or off the track. So that just kind of gave me a run on someone, I think. Or they tried to overtake someone, and then I got around there. And there's a couple of people that were kind of braking and moving in the braking zone. so it was really difficult to like send it. But it is what it is. I managed to get through unscathed and managed to pull a gap. Sam went for strategy, and I was like, well, I've got clean track. I don't need to pit. So we've both got clean track. It's just whoever can keep the pace. So I was just trying to focus on that as best as I could until the pit stop.
Yeah, and we saw obviously you got a 3-second lead, not straight after, but at least a couple of laps after, and then that lead just continued to grow as the other guys fell off into the pits.
Yeah, I think everyone was battling, wasn't there? Because what I can see in my mirror or see on the timing screen. Yeah, I was like, as soon as the guys told me that Sam had pitted, I obviously knew why he pitted. He wanted clean air because I could see he was still. I think when I got to the front, I'm sure he was fifth or fourth.
Yeah, he was. He was still
And
behind the lead cars.
yeah, and it's really difficult to overtake. Like I managed to make the most of the advantage of the Elantra on the first few laps. But I'm sure it was like I didn't get to the front. I'm sure it was like lap 10, 11 or 15 or something. It took a while, but obviously it's a small track. But it was just great fun doing that. It's good to race everyone. Everyone's like really respectful and stuff. It's just good fun. And
you hear that then, Pete? He said it was great fun around a track he hates.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Hypocrite.
So, obviously you finished first in both races. Is there anyone else you want to say thank you to, or anyone else? Is there anyone you want to say thank you to, or any shout outs you want to give?
obviously you guys putting everything on. Appreciate it. We're still sticking around, still going strong. The rest of the guys on the grid for turning up. Carl for his practice sessions. Ovs. The rest of my team. I think Cap had a good race in the second one. Unlucky for my brother. Sam for pushing me as hard as he does. It's just thanks to everyone really. It makes it worthwhile turning up and racing. That's why we do it. It's fun.
No problem. And there's your race winner, folks. Stephen Walker.
Whoop,
See you
whoop,
later.
it's a standard up, Ellis.
What the hell was that? Cheers, Stephen.
Cheers, guys.
Right, so I shall now bring in. I think he got 2 second places, did he?
Yes.
Yeah. So good evening to Sam Blease.
Good evening.
Evening. No Spencer McCarthy wingman tonight. Had to rely on Matt Flannery, but he was a bit behind you.
Well, Stephen, he's honorary chair, isn't he? So.
Well, yeah. Stephen hates this track. Made no secret of that, and still won both races. What could you have done different in hindsight to lever him out of either one of those 2 victories?
I needed to just be quicker.
Quicker.
Yeah. I could match him. I couldn't really catch him. I gained about 3 or 4 tenths from him coming out the pits to the end of the race. So there was never going to make any moves at that. Even if I'd caught him, I wouldn't. You can't pass unless you're about a second quicker. So yeah, it was. I just needed to qualify better and be more aggressive. Not be more aggressive. It's luck and being in the right place at the right time for coming through the field early on in a track like this. You can't overtake easily without a very big mistake from the car in front. So yeah, I just needed to out-qualify him or not get behind him in the first place, and I didn't do either of those things.
Yeah, I mean, you pitted a lot earlier in the feature race, didn't you, than
Yes.
Stephen? And we were pretty convinced at one point that he was going to come out of the pits behind you, and he didn't, and it was quite a surprise, to be honest. Average pit stops were about 30 seconds. I can't see what Stephen's was now because he boxed the car after the race again. But yours was pretty rapid anyway, at 38 seconds or something like that, or 30 seconds, I can't remember. But ultimately,
the numbers I've got, mine was 23.5 and his was 23.3 for actual pit lane time.
right?
So that's not including slowing down and getting back up to speed. So
Yeah.
we're basically the same on that. The difference was that he got past Jamie Wilson a lap before my pit window opened. So he got that gap. And I was about, I think, 3 or 4 seconds behind him when I went in. But I couldn't go in any earlier So if I'd got in before he'd got past Jamie, I think I'd have been fine, and I think I would have come out ahead. But because there was no one in front of him, he was just able to do clear air, and I was doing clear air most of the time. But it was just we were just swapping lap times basically.
Well,
I took the best lap off him on the second
Yeah.
from last by 0.002. It was we were just swapping fastest laps.
it was a race full of eventfulness. Race 1, everybody decided to pile it off at Clearways. And race 2, there was quite a lot of Paddock Hill Bend drama on many laps involving lots of cars. There was a bit of carnage in there at one point. I was almost asking Russ to throw a yellow, but it wasn't quite a blocked track. Everybody kind of speared off into various different corners of the grass. You didn't see much of that though, did you? It was you managed to avoid a lot of the action there.
Second race was really quite boring, to be honest. After I pitted, I didn't really see anyone. I overtook, I think, one person for position. Everyone else was lap traffic. And there were only about 5 cars in total. So I was really just hot lapping for 30 minutes, pretty much, at the end. And
Right.
I was the other side of the track to everything that went on, I think. So despite it only being less than 50 seconds, I didn't see anything happen.
Oh dear. And we need to talk through what's going on in the league at the minute. So Stephen Walker has now got just over 1,000 points. You got just under 1,000 points.
It doesn't include drop scores.
That one doesn't. And
But Stephen's drop score is 101 points.
yeah, it's pretty.
So that puts
pretty
him,
hefty.
6 points behind me.
Oof. It's all up there, isn't it? It's all to play for. And
Oh yeah.
Next time, we will be racing at Okayama Short. Not too dissimilar in overall lap time, I don't think, to this.
Similar. Maybe just over a minute. I think it's short for sure.
Yeah, and a very frantic lap, isn't it? You don't get much rest apart from the start-finish straight, maybe, on that version of that track. So I don't know how it sits in the Stephen Walker list of favourite tracks. If it's anything like his opinion of Brand's Indy, then it's not going to be well up there. How do you go at Okayama? How long is it since you've driven the short track?
Yeah, long time for the short track, but I like Okayama in general. I go pretty well there, I think. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I think that should be a good race. I think it's a little bit easier to pass than here. Like you could definitely make a move into turn 1 if you can follow closely around the final corner and stuff. So looking forward to it. I think it'll be good racing again. Don't know how it will play out, me versus Stephen, but we will find out when we get there, I think.
Yeah. Well, fantastic racing tonight. Couldn't quite leave a Stephen out of first place in those races. Do you reckon Spencer's going to rejoin you next time?
I don't know. I know he's not able to race quite as often because there's other leagues and stuff going on, and we basically ended up having a lot of racing on lots of nights, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. It's nice, but it's sometimes too much. So yeah, I don't know. I think he is possibly more likely to next week because I think there's a break week in the WTCR.
Right.
So possibly, but I don't know. I haven't discussed with him.
Fair enough. Anybody you'd like to have a shout out to before we let you go? Obviously not Spencer because he didn't turn up.
No, not him. I mean, well done to Michael Seal. He had excellent pace, particularly in race 1. I don't know what happened in race 2, but he was very, very good in race 1. So yeah, great to see someone new coming in and having that pace to fight right at the front. That's really nice to see. Well done to Stephen. Great racing today and great pace. Even if he hated every minute of it, it still worked out nicely for him. And congratulations to Matt Elmore on his new team.
What? Matt Elmore's new team?
Oh, he'll tell you in a minute.
All right, okay, fair enough. In that case, thanks for great racing again tonight, Sam Blease.
Cheers.
Right, so both of our third place finishers, Carl Hardy was in the chat a minute ago, but he's decided we're not important enough for us. He's gone. Michael Seal wasn't in the first place. We're going to go to Gary Craig next for your interview pleasure, who finished fourth in the feature race, and I think fourth in the first race. I can't really remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so over to you, Russ.
Afternoon, Gary.
Hello.
Again, welcome to the booth, and we will talk about the qualifying first off. Did you find the car as sketchy as we've talked about this week in regards to getting up to speed on the qualifying?
Yeah, I'm really struggling with the rear tyre warm-up. It's the same at the start of the races. I managed to get a much better starting position than I was expecting, actually. I think on Monday night's practice, I was 0.2 of a second behind the leader, but I was in 9th place. It's that close. And I got a lucky lap that kind of came together, I think, in quali, which helped starting 4th or 5th. I think 5th because Cap tipped me right at the end.
Yeah, and then when it came to the start of race 1, we saw you getting 2 blinding starts of both races. Have you shared your expertise at starting the car with anyone yet? Like Mr. Elmo, who starts in 3rd?
Yeah, I mean, we spent like an hour with Cap teaching him the starts a few weeks ago. I think with the start of the season, we all sat and we discussed how we did it best. But yeah, race 1, really good start. I got up alongside Cap straight away and got past him. And then he was mega aggressive, like on the brakes and sticking his nose in places in that race 1. And I think he just got caught out a bit. Trying to go around the outside with what he thought was warmer tyres than he actually had before he kind of ended up in the gravel there, which was unfortunate for him. But after that, he was fiercely forward all the way from there. He was, by the end of that second race, he was right on the back of us. He'd had a mega one. Like, it's going to be a shame that you're going to not be racing with him next season, to be honest. He's obviously really getting the eyes on him, and to be offered that amount of money to race elsewhere, you can't blame him. You can't turn that down.
Oh, we're not going to argue the cost. Like, you can go. There's no money in the pot for us, so I'm happy to lose him. I'm sure you have loads of fun in a yellow car. And he likes green, so anyway, we'll let him enjoy that one. Race 1, I don't think you had any close encounters with anyone. There was no.
Race 1 was boring. The guys in front were a good 3 or 4 tenths quicker than me, and I just ended up in a gap the entire race 1.
That was it. We saw Mr. Elmo going off track, didn't we? And leave you a nice pathway.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like Carl at the end of that race was coming back on me quickly. Had a good 2.5 seconds for most of it, and then the last couple of laps he really caught up. So I don't know whether he just had better tyres or he just started nailing some laps. But it was quite a boring first race for me. But the second race was exciting.
I was going to say, then we got to race 2, which, again, as I said before, you got a decent start. We had the wall of Honda, a great wall of Honda. Or should we call it a great wall of Honda now that it's been 3 races? I'm not sure. Because at the minute they're standing up longer than the Great Wall of China, or parts of it. I said to Stephen the same thing. How did you find it coming up behind them again? Did you find it to be, it's these again, or was it just eyes forward, push this car as much as I can to try and get past these boys?
I was trying to be a bit more aggressive than normal, and it actually caught me out a bit because I had a bit of a run on Jamie as he was really slow off of Graham Hill, but then like I had to stop, otherwise I would have hit him, and then like 3 cars went past me. So it's one of those things where you got to give it a go, and it can pay off, and sometimes it doesn't. But it was tricky, but it was interesting tonight because people chose different strategy. Like Sam and Carl and Michael all pitted so that they didn't have to pass Jamie, whereas I stuck it out to see if I could, and I did eventually. It took like two corners. There was Druids and like around the outside of Druids and on the inside. No, inside of Druids, outside of Graham Hill.
Yeah.
And I got him eventually. And then it was just about keeping my head down to see where we came out after the pits. And after the pits, I came out right on the tail of Michael and Carl. So it actually evened out for us. It was pretty good because then we had a race from there. It was good fun.
Yeah, and then obviously once you got past them, you was just smooth sailing until it was your turn to pit, and then everyone fell in place basically. Stephen continued to pull a path, his own pathway up front. Once you got released, you was obviously maintaining as much as you could to keep up with him, but we know he's a bit of an alien, so he just drove off.
That was never the race. Those guys were a good 3 or 4 tenths quicker, or maybe a couple of tenths quicker on average. I did manage to put a really good lap in. Cap did as well, which was comparable to the fastest guys, but I couldn't do that every lap, and they were just consistently fast. But no, after the pits there, came out behind Michael and Carl. Michael ended up making a mistake, so I got alongside him. Then I thought, right, great, I'm 8 tenths behind Carl. We'll pull up on the back of him and then we'll go again. But no, Michael was straight on fighting again. He wanted to come straight back past. So Carl got away. So it ended up being me and Michael fighting all the way to the end. But at the same time, when I was behind Michael, I didn't want to fight him that hard because Cap was coming up behind us. So I kind of let him just take his lines and hope that he would catch up a bit on Cap. But then he started making mistakes, and then I think he was trying to save fuel because he was short on the line. So we ended up with Cap right behind us after that kind of fiercely forward charge that he made.
And then obviously we saw Michael completely run out of fuel as he comes around the last corner. And I thought you were going to stay behind him, but you must have realised what was happening and decided, no, I'll take that position, thank you very much.
Well, no, I didn't realise. I actually had a really good drive off of that last turn, and I don't know whether he was just trying to take a funny line to protect a little bit, and because I don't think he'd coughed on fuel then. He was definitely must have been lifting a couple of times before that, but I think that cough that he had over line was the first one, and I already had a good run on him. Whether I would have caught him or not is a different question, but I certainly put myself in a position to be there, and I think it made all the difference.
Yeah. And we know one thing you're good at is calculating fuel. So how much fuel did you have at the end of the race?
0.8 of a lap, which is about 0.6 of a litre.
Which, to be fair, you usually end up with that much anyway, don't you, at the end of a race? Or try to aim for? Not
this season, because now that we're in heat races, the fuel calculators can't work it out as well. So you have, Race Labs doesn't work it out at all, hasn't got a clue. Crew Chief, I don't know what it is until I go in, so I can't rely on that. And Cap's kind of online browser one doesn't tell you until well after halfway in the race, so you can't make an early pit stop and know how much you're taking. So I ended up just having to risk it a bit. Took 11 litres, which I think everyone else did. I think Sam took 10 because he was using a bit less fuel. But yeah, it was the right amount this week. But normally I'm taking a lap or two too much. It's a little bit annoying that the heat racing does that to the fuel calculators. I think JRT's okay, but I don't have that.
Yeah, we've noticed that a few. I mentioned that again earlier in the race that we were struggling to get our calculators to work it out properly.
Yeah. I ended up just doing my usual. I take the average lap time that we're doing, divide the amount of seconds in the race by the lap time, and then round it up, and then times the amount of average fuel, and just do a little bit of a pre-race calculation. And that was good for the first race. So I just kind of relied on that a bit as well to know what I kind of needed.
He says he does it pre-race, Pete, but he does it during the race. That's how good he is at maths.
Oh yeah, 1200 divided by 49 equals 24.5. Round that up to 25 times 0.83. Yeah, 41 litres. Done. Job done.
And he comes out with pi. Oh no, that's Carl.
Pie. That's Carl.
Yeah. Good race tonight, then, Gary. Is there anyone you want to give shout-outs to, or any mentions?
Yeah, a lot of people on the chat tonight, by the looks of it. Good to have some new faces there. But yeah, just thanks for you guys as usual. Everyone apart from Wobbly, it's good fun. Everyone who's racing, cheers.
Thank you, Gary. Speak to you later.
Okay, let's see who's in next. You've
got to do it, Pete.
Yeah. One sec. That should be the right buttons to press. So in the booth now should be, if I can just select his name. On the replay, the person they call Cap, Matt Elmore. Good evening.
Good morning.
Yeah. We've seen you tonight. Move yourself forward
badly.
quite fiercely, some might say.
I moved fiercely forwards in this race.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with this, but there's a lot of ribbing going on, to be fair. And Russ keeps giggling anytime anybody says fiercely or forward in any kind of order. And
He's quite a fierce little lad.
It might have been because I set it up before the race and told Wobbly and a few people to mention it during the race. But yeah,
I did the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to explain that at some point. But you were quite towards the front of the field in both races and found yourself moving backwards.
I was going to say that was until I was 18th.
yeah, moving backwards quite rapidly on a couple of occasions. So you can explain either one of those two things: the fiercely forward thing or the moving backwards thing in your own time.
But firstly, I put out an absolute blinding lap to absolutely pip Gary on his qualifying because he thought he was going to beat me. So yeah, there's one for Gary. But no, I didn't get a bad start. It was all right. I pulled away from the cars behind, apart from Gary, who's just stupid at his starts because he's got stupidly expensive equipment and aids. And it kind of helps when you've got the aids to get you up there. So it's all assist, it's all mechanical. It's not actual driver skill. But no, I hung it out too. I put too much power down. I hung it on the outside too soon. Simon was tucked in behind, so if I didn't try and keep the position, I think I could have probably lost 3 or 4 positions. So I went for it and lost. What did I lose? What, 12?
12, yeah.
4.
Yeah, that was...
it was a gamble. It didn't work out, but still.
No, it certainly made for great drama because we were like, "Who are those two cars disappearing off into the distance at Clearways?" And yeah, it was you, and you came off the worst.
I was flipping the bird as I was going round.
Because you wanted to be in first place. That's what it was.
If I could reach, I would have hit my flash button because I knew it had got some TV time with me going round sideways, doing a little Tokyo drift. But,
yeah. Funny stuff. And then race 2. Not dissimilar fortunes, just not quite as bad. So we saw you struggling on a couple of corners, but ultimately putting in some pretty rapid lap times, to be fair.
Well, I think I started 10th or 11th or something like that. So I think to finish 6th, it was quite an achievement because obviously, to be fair, to be finishing in the top 18 is a good achievement. 19 or however many people started, because everyone's got pace. But I don't know. You get into that top 10 situation. It's so hard to make passes on a small track like this because everyone is. There's the lap times. There's nothing in it. So you can have one lap where you're a tenth quicker, but then you can have another lap where you've had a little lift off or you've gone a little bit of understeer, and you've lost 2 tenths. So it's just you've got to be so consistent. I did try and go in the pits because I didn't have enough fuel to do another lap, and there was a car sideways, and I think it was Andy. It was Andy Littler. He was sideways in the pit entrance.
Yes.
Oh, no. Yeah. So I had a little bit of a slow in lap and started running out of fuel coming up to my pit box, and then I went to come out on the pits. And I don't know if you see my pit exit, but I had to take evasive action over to the right because Andrew Littler was there again.
Right.
So I lost a little bit of time on Gary, but it was all right second race. Lap time was right up there. It was I think it was a 48.4 along with the top 2, 3. So yeah, I had a little bit of pace, but just didn't work out tonight. Is what it is.
No, absolutely rapid. And yeah, we hope you move more fiercely forward when you get to Okayama Short. Is that a track that you are familiar with? Do you even remember racing the short track at Okayama?
Yes.
Oh.
I love Okayama. I love Okayama full. And to be fair, I mean, Russelltail, we've had some great races around there. We were, when Russ is in the hot seat and he's racing all the time and he's up to speed, we're neck and neck around there as always and have some great races. However, the short track's a little bit different. It's going to be like this, I think. Yes,
it's going to be very similar, I would have thought. Anybody you'd like to have a shout out to before we let you go? Maybe your future teammates? It's up to you.
thanks for everyone here. Thanks for everyone on track. It was all right racing tonight, and roll on next week.
Awesome stuff.
Is it next week when you join your new team, or
Already done it, mate.
Oh, okay.
In that case, we will see you next time out.
Yeah,
Matt
no worries.
Elmo. Right, cracking. Who's left? Let's have a word with one half of the Great Wall of Honda again. Over to you, Russ, to interrogate Jamie Wilson and see if he's grown fonder of the Honda or not.
No.
Oh, we know the answer to that one. I was going to say, we know the answer to that one. Good afternoon, Jamie.
Hello, afternoon. Where are you then?
Good night, then.
Bye.
Bye. Interview over.
Yeah. We were wondering where you would start race 2. Qualifying, was it as expected? Did you feel like you could have got more out of it?
Yeah, I reckon I had another 1/10.5 in it, which probably wouldn't have made any difference, or whatever. But I kept having an amazing paddock hill bend, like bloody 45 degrees going down the hill, hanging on for dear life, and being like half a tenth up. But I just kept losing it through the second half of the lap in qualifying. It was really annoying. But yeah, it was. I can't even remember the first race now. So long ago.
Seems a while ago. It just seemed like a while ago.
And also, just driving that car just ages you generally, so it was literally a year ago in my brain. But yeah, no, I got a decent start and sort of ended up in the midst of everything, avoided the big carnage that was going on at the 2 bits of independent carnage going on towards the end of the lap on lap 2, I think.
Yep.
Tony Walker doing some twerking right ahead of me. Panic brake. And then all the other shenanigans going on about 5 metres later. And yeah, we ended up obviously in the customary 7th and 8th, I think, or 6th and 8th, or whatever we ended up being.
Yeah, we're starting to see that more and more each week.
It's almost seems scripted. It is.
we even tried to fight it yesterday by coming up with a plan, but the two that we spoke to obviously didn't listen to me. Because we were predicting there was going to be a great wall of Honda again. And right, we were.
Well, you sort of ended up with one of those gates they have in farmhouses where it's like 2 halves.
And then going into race 2, you two had pretty decent starts. Those guys behind you, we saw Gary not even budge towards you, and he used it as blinding starts. You got away pretty much perfectly. You were side by side going in. Was there a bit of Simon, you go ahead, or Jamie, you stick ahead, or was it just stick side by side and see what happens?
Not even that. We actually had a really good sort of fake race going on in practice ahead of this, just sort of side by side constantly and passing each other constantly. It was good fun, actually. We were trying to sort of implicitly recreate that because that's fun. But no, there's no sort of plan with that. I mean, it may look like it's a sort of considered thing to be too wide all the time, but it's not. It's just Simon trying to pass me and usually succeeding, but not this time. And then he had some drama going. I didn't even see what happened into Paddock Hill Bend a couple of laps in, I think with Carl maybe, and ended up potentially broken suspension. I'm not 100% sure, but at that point he was just annoyed at the car massively.
He took a good side swipe. I think Carl wanted his pie order in, and he wanted Simon to grab it for him and bring it back to the track. But
gotcha, yeah. Well, that's two things there. One, that's not where I've been to Brands Hatch, as has Simon. It's his local track. The pies aren't over there; they're over the other way. And good luck trying to afford one.
yeah, good point. Well, it's Carl and he's rich. Fine. He probably brought his own truck in as well. That's why he was waiting at that corner.
Yeah, probably. He's got a gravy boat as weight ballast in the car.
So everyone coming up behind you, with you being on your own after what happened to Simon, was it, oh no, or was it just, I'm going to stick to my lines, they can go around me, this is the wall of Honda?
Both of those. It's a bit kind of Jaws. Dun, 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 dun. You see Work catching 7/10 in a lap, and you think, how? And then, and eventually the kind of pack caught me. We all had a bit of a kerfuffle, which was partly me just ham-fisting a defence a little bit. Fair enough. And then
you held on to it quite well, though.
I bloody tried, as you may have been able to see. Yeah, and then I just sort of went fiercely backward from there.
Oh, sorry. That caught me off guard. Yeah, you proper took me off there with that one.
Pete, take over.
Brought me off. So obviously, once you got everyone started pitting, we started to see people kind of keep that gap. Gary got past yourself. Did you feel like you could have done anything by pitting early, or was it just a case of I'm staying here, I'm pitting when I need to pit, and just continue with the race? Or...
No, I actually thought it was quite funny that people were coming up behind me and then jumping in the pits, and I sort of sod that kind of approach. So I thought I'd prolong their misery. But yeah, once the pit stop cycle happened, I might have just had a bit of a crap pit entry, that sort of thing. Because like Gary and Cap were like 8 seconds up the road. I needed a bloody calendar to try and see where they ended up. So, and then after that, I had a really, really good battle with Jamie Jeffrey, somewhat impeded by a certain back marker that decided to do something a bit silly, which all worked out in the end anyway, at least for us. But yeah, credit to Jamie Jeffrey. His move on me towards the end of that race was an absolute cracker. So. He capitalised.
Is that Druids?
I hope you did, because no, it started a long time before that. It probably was in the end, actually. Yeah, it started at Clearways. I just ever so slightly missed my turn in by a smidge, and he just about managed to capitalise on it and sort of hang it round the outside all the way around. So, or which way around it worked.
Yeah, I think
it was like a long pass. Basically, he made it work really well.
Yeah, we joined that on the start finish, and he completed the move out of Druids, I think. So you'll see it when you watch the video back.
Yeah, that was a full props to him. That was a brilliant one.
Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, to yourselves for putting it on. To a couple of people have been saying sort of nice things about the fact that we're able to hold on, and that we're sort of. It's quite difficult being in our position, but we're sort of making the best of it. In a way that's not, because we could drive like complete twats doing this, but we're not. So, so that's appreciated by those that have sort of come to that conclusion. And thanks to Simon for persevering still with it. Because this is difficult, but it's bloody good fun being in the thick of it. I'd much prefer this to not that I've never been in this position, but to the position of being 30 seconds up the road, having just sodded off right from the start.
It brings it something new to you, isn't it?
It's
well, not new to you, but
yeah, it's
in the Honda.
I had it at Oschersleben once, and that was my moment, and that I'm content with that. I much prefer just being in the thick of it, and this, I suppose, is one perverse way of achieving that on a regular basis.
And you're welcome for that 30-second gap you had. Considering I made all the field behind me near enough crash in every sense of the word.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Goodfellas for manufacturing the pizza that's in my oven that's going to burn in 2 minutes if I don't get out of it. So.
That's fine. I'll let you go. Thank you for that, and speak to you next week.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. See you later.
So that leaves us with the difficult decision of the night. Wobbly's already voted in. I'm just going to go and add it to the scores if I can find the thing. Here go to this, do a bit of that button and this button, choose the right league, which is what I usually forget to do, and search. So it was Michael Seal who got a Wobbly vote. Right, I'll sum up the way I see things. Stephen Walker did another amazing night of winning both races, and Sam Blease did another amazing night of being the chief most competition. Carl Hardy got himself a podium but didn't join us for a chat, so he's not getting my vote. Gary could easily get my vote as being the highest performing non-Elantra, but I think I've done that enough. Michael Seal got Wobbly's vote and therefore can't have mine because I can never agree with Wobbly. Matt Elmore would have been great, but he's left his team. Jamie Jeffrey did very, very well tonight, and Jamie Wilson did very well in the Honda, which, as he says, is a struggle to make competitive, but he and Simon both do a great job of it. And I think my vote's going to go to Jamie Wilson, that is, tonight, for persevering with a car that a lot of people would just get fed up with. I'm fed up of, getting it in a decent position and then watching the field go past me. But they are uber entertaining. And you see the car going sideways, and you see them ending up not randomly, in 8th and 7th at the end of the first race, and you think, well, the second race is going to be super interesting now. So my vote goes to Jamie Wilson tonight. What about yourself, Russ?
So I'm the same as you. I cannot agree with Wobbly. Otherwise, if he didn't pick Michael would have got mine tonight as well. But it's Wobbly. We can't agree with Wobbly ever.
No.
So well done to Michael tonight. Brilliant drive. Both races. Excellent to see where he was tonight. It'll be good to see where he comes out of this next week, with it being a short version of the track again. Hopefully we see the same performance. The wall of Honda, you just can't make it up, can you? Race 2 every week now, like literally for 3 weeks running. If we see it next week, then it is a fix. Yeah, and we definitely know they're aiming for 7th and 8th at the start of every race for race 2. Brilliant run by the pie boy himself, Carl, tonight. Good to see him get that podium. A few people up and down the field that drove really well. Matt getting unlucky in race 1. Gary did really well in all the races. Sam absolutely trying to smash it and push walk to the limit, as Geo drivers do to the teammates. To the friends. And Stephen just running away with it. Like, he got through the pack quite early on, I would say, considering how many laps they did, and just continued to push the car. Tonight, I am going to do a Sir Alan Toon. I'm going to go for Stephen Walker.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, you can't argue with that, to be fair.
That he hates the track. I could not stress. He told you in the interview, he absolutely despised this track. He was least looking forward to it. He hasn't stopped saying how much of a bad track it was. I can't say what words he said because Pete will shout at me. But he's pushed himself tonight, and it could have gone one way or the other. I think Sam, as Sam said, he just needed to go quicker, but I think Sam could have brought it. Stephen could have got in his head that this is the worst track in the world, but he outperformed himself tonight.
No, you're right, he did. And again, made his way through from 8th place for the second week running to take the victory there. Past the Great Wall of Honda and everything else that was going on. I think Gary's right on the chat, wondering about if he really does have sexually transmitted disease.
I had to mute myself.
I know.
Said it,
I did the same. Yeah,
he could have said driver. He could have said driver before it, and it would have made it a hell of a lot better.
It would, yeah. He didn't, and it just made it amusing. Yeah. I think Brands Hatch Indy's done really well for us. I wasn't sure what it was going to be, whether it was going to be the centripetal circuit and a follow my leader sort of scenario. I would have voted for Jack James tonight because A, he did really well in the first race. B, I was starting to buckle under the peer pressure of all his fans on the chat. But in the end, he absolutely mullered his car in a spectacular way and caused an early exit for a couple of others. So he voted himself out of that one. But yeah, great racing again tonight. We are at Akiyama Short for this series next week. As I've already mentioned, on Saturday this week, I invite you to join us for the VAESC start of season at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. It's going to be a brilliant introduction to the season. We've got a great field, some very familiar faces, a very, very competitive, fantastic community that we've got going there. 13th season, 7th year, and what a brilliant, long-standing series that is. So please join us on Saturday, and we'll make it an event you'll not soon forget. I'll thank Wobbly for joining us and irritating the hell out of us in the chat. I'll thank Russ for joining me in the chat and being the intelligent one. And I'll say good night to everybody watching. Please join us again next time. Thanks to all the racers for making the series what it is. And I'll hand you over to Russ. Thanks everyone and good evening.
Thank you everyone and good evening.